How you guys doing? Hi, 9/11. We have had a very nice day, and I should be outside doing something. but I've done a little, but not much. How about yourself? Everything going fall days, I really like fall days like this. I wish we had more fall days like this. Highs around the 70s, and the leaves are starting to change in New England, and what'll happen after the leaves change, our back totally changes. It's all the leaves fall off, and it opens up the woods behind our house, and so you can see way beyond that. It's really, and then in the springtime they start off with this very light green, and then they fill in. That's a lot of fun. Anyway, I got on my etude number one. The problem, the watch that we thought was a challenge, and little did we know. So that's one of the excuse me. That's one of the things I've been doing. Hi, Riza, how you doing? Anyway, what's your latest watch you got? You got any of you? I was going to ask you, anybody have a watch problem? Um, with any watches, you ever buy a watch and there was something wrong with it? Yeah, I used to live in Gainesville, Florida, so I'm pretty much familiar with it. You know, one of the things that got me about Florida, not on the best side, but on the other side, is we drive from Gainesville to someplace like Cedar Key, and all along the way it was like tunnel vision, all these slash pines all the way around it. One of my favorite towns in the country is in St. Augustine, Florida. I love that town. There's a place called, what's it called? There's a steakhouse, Burns Steakhouse in Tampa. Hard to beat. So, but I don't know, most people think of Florida in very different ways. Either the beaches or Miami or something. Used to go fishing in the Gulf. That was fun. Chopard Grand Coup. Oh, it didn't go off right. What kind of problem did you have with it, Riza? Hi, Dartmouth. Hey, Washington. You bought a used? Well, I bought most of my watches that I don't have here. They're in the case. I got used. You know, a lot of watches I bought, I just realized, like this one. I suppose they might be considered new old stock. At the time I got this, it wasn't. I don't know if they were still making them when I got it, but I got a really good buy on it, and it was from a place in California called Pacific Watch, and I guess they had some that they were trying to sell in the worst way, and was able to get one. It turned out to be it was a brand new watch. Had no problems with it. Hey Lee, good to see you. I found out Lee lives in a really pretty part of Oklahoma that I didn't even know existed. So, oh, the crown broke. That's no fun. That's no fun at all. Hi, Mark. Even though it's 2022 model, it's a funny thing on my second Larique watch when I got it the first time I got it. I overwound it, I guess, and broke the stem. Wine, to make sure it's all wound up, and suddenly it wasn't working right anymore. They said, no spinach before you wind your watch. That happens, but that can be no fun at all. Yeah, it was a bit flimsy. Hey, Ed. Okay, let me tell you, something happened the other day. The video that I just finished there it is. The video that I just finished had another, watch in it, but right before I published it, I was told by somebody I got an email that says, "Wait a minute, don't recommend this watch." And I went, "Well, why not? It's a great buy and everything." And let me show you why. Hang on a second, I'll bring it up. I got it standing by to be exposed. Now, this is a watch from a place called The Real Real. And, first of all, let me say right off the bat that I do like it very much. It's Armstrong Regulator Earth, limited edition. That part I don't care about. The the estimated retail was 14,160. I don't know where they got that number, but it sounds about right. They had it for about 6,000. It wouldn't sell. And then they had it down to 4,796, saying now 20% off. Okay. So far so good. I mean, that's a good price for that watch. But then you go down to here, it's not in details. And you have to go all the way down here to this very light printing. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger here. Okay. So you get into this light printing. Now, first of all, the condition they market as grade 2, which sound okay. That's sort of like getting a B grade. It says light scratches throughout the case and bezel. I've been very happy to buy watches with, in that case, light wear and creasing throughout straps. Straps I don't care about because I can get new ones. Light scratches at the buckle, could care even less about that. Issue with the regulator, minute, and date hounds needs service. Okay. This is where alarm bells start going off. Then it says timekeeping. The watch currently does not meet expected timekeeping standards. Service required. Well, okay, this needs to go up top. First of all, you don't say there's something that when you say issues with the regulator minute hand, something's not working. And how does that get a grade 2? God knows what a grade 1 is barely working. But it's the kind of thing that really. And then I got the story. They had the people who got it were telling me they had a big fight to get their money back. They finally did, but it's just it's one of those things that um, yeah, you look at something like that and you say, wait a minute, $4,000 is not something, you'd lose through a hole in your pocket. I mean, that's a lot of money. And yeah, it is a really good watch. And for a watch like that was in good running order, more than worth it. But man, I'll tell you, it's there's the old thing about what is it? uh, there's a Latin term for buyer beware, captor impor, something like that. And man, this really applies to the watch people. The only time I ever got a watch that was less than I had hoped for, it was a German, I think it was a Swiss watch. It's one of my 736s. Went through not the regulator, but the authenticator that eBay has, and it came out and it said um, everything working fine. All right. Well, it wasn't. The thing is that I could set the moon phase and do everything with the moon phase, except it didn't work. I mean, the moon didn't change. But, I guess they'd have to keep the thing, a couple of weeks to find out whether it was working well or not. But otherwise, I've been pretty fortunate along those lines. How about yourself? Reese's thing about the broken stem, that's important. Crown problem often happens. I had the problem solved by going to the watchmaker, which had a fix in 15 minutes. You know, a watchmaker fixing the stem, there's a, now let me see. I'm afraid if I pick something up, I may break it. Right here. Okay. This is a watch that I've been working on for some time now, and I finally got it working. Everything works beautifully. The time is really good, and once I get it all ready and in the case, I'll take the back off. Well, the back is still off, and I'll go into the regulator. Up there it is, to the regulator, and with the regulator, I'll get that thing right on time. But to release a stem is really easy. There's this little bitty screw up here. There are a couple different ways to do it. There's another way to do it from the dial side too. You just push another thing in and hold it in and pull it out. But there's a little screw there. You just loosen that screw and whoop, out it comes. I've got to do that because I have to take it out to put it into the case. But yeah, that could be a problem. But fortunately, as you mentioned, it's one that's pretty easy to fix. Speaking of which, I went to uh, it's almost embarrassing to talk about it, but I will because it's such a boneheaded thing. I had a Daniel Roth watch, the regulator, and I wanted to check out the movement. And in order to check out the movement, I had to take the back off. So I took it down to I have a trouble with these pop off. This is one of the things that it's one of those pop off backs to it, which is I've got a really good case knife and everything else to take the back off with. But I end up scratching up the watch so much that so I took it down to a watchmaker and he did it for me. Well, then I couldn't get it back on because it's that sort of funny curve, and I was afraid if I used my cruncher on that thing, it would bend it. So I didn't. So I took it into a watchmaker, and the guy was really a nice guy. He said, "But you got to sign this thing." Basically, the thing you sign it says, "If I screw it up, we're not held liable." Which I thought, "Oh, this is great." The guy fixed it and gave it to me. He didn't even charge me for it. Neither one of them charged me. Coming and going. That's I guess for those of you who are members of the pretentious watchmakers, I think there's sort of a guild we have with real watchmakers. Hey, Brian, how you doing? Ed, on the one hand, uh, pun intended, they're declared an issue, and on the other hand, it wasn't in the main description, and surely they have access to a watchmaker for servicing. Uh, yeah, I don't know. On Arm and Strom, they may not. I wouldn't trust any real watchmakers as far as I could throw them. They're more of a overall luxury thing. This is something I've been working on, and that is getting an American watchmaker to do any service that we have on our Larique watches. I mean, we're starting our fourth watch, and every watch we have has a different movement. The first two had the movement was pretty similar, but it wasn't the same. And now every time I send a watch back to Switzerland to get fixed, unless it's being done by the people who make the thing, I worry that I'm going to get it, end up with one of that $39 or not $39, 39% tariff on the thing. This whole thing is really getting crazy. This morning I was talking about a watch that I bought from Japan that was Swiss, and they nailed me with a 39% tariff on it. It's just crazy. Dare I ask how Vandy did, Brian? The Commodores? Ohio State versus Washington. You're missing now. I know I'm missing a football. Well, wait a minute. Well, this is a break. This is my long-suffering wife can sneak in a soap opera, something, or a black and white movie. How you doing, Lazard? All right. Good grief. Oh, that's amazing, Brian, especially no offense for the Commodores, but, they're sort of the Ivy League of the SEC. How are they winning any games? You know? They also started off, I think they won some other game at the last minute, so I don't know if American football fans is a type of football fan very much like European football and South American and just the rest of the world football fans, that's really what we call soccer. 5-0, my God. Have they ever been 5-0 before? I don't know. Many times a simple problem may spell a major one, thus lots of money. I remember a waterproof stem which needed an overhaul of the stem. That's mucho dinero. Ay, chihuahua. Yeah, I can see that, especially with a waterproof one. This is why I'm not crazy about this thing. Oh boy, this thing will, go down 1,000,000 feet or some other kind of waterproofing, because you're going to need a giant gasket. And if that something happens to that gasket, it will get wet a lot quicker than one with a lot less of a guaranteed dunk in the pool. So that's the kind I like. Oh, hey, Brian L. Aggies, huh? How they doing? They used to my one of my wife's degrees is from University of Texas, and they used to talk about the difference between a university in Texas as the difference between culture and agriculture. They beat Georgia State last week. Good grief. Holy smoke. That's amazing. And the Aggies are going 7-0. Man, my Chargers are so far, knock on wood, 3-0. They haven't been 3-0 in years. And again, sorry guys, because a lot of people say, what are these guys talking about? I mean, I'm sure to a lot of people it's like explaining how cricket works to most other non-cricket people. Trojans are not mine, not at all. Believe me, they are not my Trojans. Trust me, honest or not. Right now, yeah, we got three teams. My wife is a Cowboy fan from way back. We're both sort of transplanted New England Patriot fans, and I'm a. You know what happens to ducklings? They sort of with their first duck they see, they sort of latch onto it. That's with me and the LA Chargers. Anyway, let's talk about watches. I'm sorry, everybody, that is wondering what the heck we're talking about. Yeah, Brian, I can see that. Hi, Isa. Hi, Tim. My team, Brisbane Lions, won the Australian Football League partnership premiership yesterday. So we're all basking in that today. Hey, congratulations, Tim. That is a huge thing. I was looking at something today. I don't know how I got onto it, but it was about celebrities' houses, and they were showing all of these big mansions in London, and they belong to footballers. So footballers in I guess Premier League footballers do quite well. Hi, Ghost. Had to sell my 118. Oh, perpetual calendar last week. It's hard when you enjoy a watch. Someone makes you an offer too good to you can't refuse. Man, I'll tell you, I'm hanging on to both of my Daniel Rosses. I got those that are some time ago. I had a good buy on them. They're both great watches. Um, something I can't. The only problem with the Daniel Rosses was that they don't have exhibition windows. At least the ones I have don't have exhibition windows in the back. And of course, once I opened it up, the there was giant rotor. Couldn't see it all. I see Omega announced 18 to 15% price increase October 1st. But when I looked at that I had on my windshield, they've already increased it, unfortunately. Oh, on your wish list, not on your windshield. I thought, here comes an Omega splat. I can see it now. I think the highest paid athletes in the world are football, soccer players. I think so too. I'm pretty sure of it. Now a bunch of sorority girls are starting to make a bunch of money with their yippies. Just saw a new cool watch, revaluation and Caledon Cristone enamel from Four Nobles. Boy, plum blossoms. Yes. Is that does that involve Benjamin Chi at all? Because I know that he's doing some really interesting stuff with Close to May. Tim, I was thinking some of the less aesthetically appealing special editions watches I have seen are the ones made for professional footballers. Hopefully, they'll improve their taste over time. Hey, I tell you one. This is one I've almost bought. Speaking of watches and football, and I think we also can put in a little corruption. Um, in the Brazil World Cup, what was that, 2004, something, 2004, 2014, sometime in that time period, or time period, a decade, um, a number of watch companies came out with special watches. I forgot the name of the CFB or something like that. So they had these, and Parmigiani had this special one. And it was basically they took what was it? One of the chronographs, one of the Parmigiani chronographs. I'm trying to think which one it was. Named after a boat, after a yacht. Well, anyway, they took that one and then had it all done up in the colors, and then on the back, instead of the boat, they had CFB or whatever the name of the organization was. Well, that particular organization, just about everybody in it that year, was indicted on corruption charges. And I thought, God, what a cool watch to have. Just because of the history. That's the same reason I like the Jacquet 736s. They've got an interesting story behind them. I was thinking some of the less aesthetically appealing watches, special editions. Yep, I hope so too. Hi, Isa. Okay. Oh my God, you need to see T-Gym. Tell me about T-Gym. Persian, thank you. That was it. That's the one. If you can find some out there, they're really interesting. They have, I think they have on the small second, they have 5 stars around it. This is on the Brazil one, and it is a Persian. And they have, I think it's yellow and blue for the Brazilian colors. I think it's blue. Anyway, those are cool watches, but the Pershing was never anybody's favorite watch, and I think they're probably most of them are gone now. But you can still find some. But there was some other watch companies that also had a deal with them, and I don't remember which ones they were, but it's sort of interesting. 5 stars, yeah, 2014 5 stars, right? That's it, Brian. It's sort of an interesting watch, but I mean, it's like I don't know. I'm not a chronograph fan, and the Pershing was simply for a yacht. That's what it was sort of. It was funny. The first overseas I had was the first one that Vassar and Constantin made, and they had a yacht, not a yacht, but some kind of sailing ship on the back of it, an old sailing ship like you know the Mayflower or the Beagle or one of the famous ships. It wasn't a battleship or anything, but it was sort of a cool ship. So also, you had it at a great price. Okay, what are some other things to look out for when you're buying a watch in terms of like, do we know anything about the what kind of shape it's in? Um, Benjamin, yeah. Yeah, he does a lot of good stuff. I like Benjamin's stuff. Founder of Caledon. Okay. He's in Singapore, right? I think. Pretty sure he's in Singapore doing some work from there. Yeah, he sent me, so I did some he had one that he had done, and he wanted me to review it for him, and I did, and I sent it back to him, and I almost kept, that I wasn't supposed to. It was for a friend, and it was really a cool watch. It was, I guess they had taken it up on top of Mount Everest. It was still ticking. If I bought a non-running watch at a bargain, I would send it off to the manufacturer upon receipt to get it checked and serviced. But I'm but I'm on on risk, taking on risk, and the price should reflect it. I agree, 911. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Um, in fact, if somebody said, "Look, I got a watch, it doesn't run," and they gave me, they take something like an FP Journe Octa. Now that's going to cost you something to have that fixed, but I know that I can send an FP Journe down to its. In fact, what I can do, I can go over to New York, drop it off with William, who is sort of running He's not the. He doesn't run it, but he runs it, and that's the FP Journe Boutique in New York City. And he'd send it on down and have it, and probably cost me a couple $1,000s. But man, I tell you, if I had a good price on it, it'd be very much worth it, running or not. Hmm. I remember buying a watch which hands were loose. I got that very problem. See what had them fixed on the cannon pinion, covered by the watch, which was still under warranty. I've got a Zenith that I've had for a long time, and I'd wind a sucker up. And the minute hand was doing. I'm not the minute hand, but the second hand. You see, that thing's doing okay. But the hour and the minute hand weren't, and so it's a matter of putting them back on the cannon pinion. That is something I could probably do with my. In fact, that's what I just when I put that watch together. But I hadn't thought of that. Uh, I get my old Zenith. It's a dual time Zenith with a Zenith Elite. Those Zenith Elite movements are fantastic. All you hear about is Zenith. You hear about the El Primero, but you don't hear about the one I think is sort of their workhorse, and that's the old Zenith Elite. Wow, Brian. And I tell you what, you also do. Brian brings down a light on him for the information. Gives him a big interview. That's a good idea, Brian, though, to really ask a lot of questions. If 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 there's a somebody demurs too much on an answer, that's part of the answer itself. Tim, I've seen several stories recently of Seiko and Citizen honoring warranty repairs even after expiring, especially on the higher priced ones. That's a very good thing. I got to tell you, I had fabulous service from Chanel. Talked about that a dozen times, I'm sure. But Chanel gives great service too. Hi, Von Cruel. Hi, Tony. What do I think of I don't know that brand. I'll have to take a look at Degerit. I don't know. Oh no, it's that time again. What time? Uh-oh. Yikes, it is. Okay, guys. Hey, thank you all. Now I'm motivated to go fix my to go fix my Zenith. I'll just get the hands reset. Anyway, thanks for dropping by. Some of you guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning. The rest of you have a great day and super great weather. Zinc, what's up is we're all going home now. Take care for the rest of the day. God, 5-0 Commodores. That's amazing. That's great.